Let's dive straight into this wild ride through history's closest calls with human extinction. We're counting down 9 insane events that nearly wiped us off the map, each one a reminder of how fragile our spot on this planet really island. Picture yourself as an ancient wanderer, scraping by in a world full of unknowns. These stories will make you grateful for your cozy couch and streaming service. Buckle up. We're starting with number 9. Number 9. The Chixulub near. Myths that rocked the world. Okay, envision this. You're one of the first folks on Earth, hunkered down in a rocky shelter, maybe sketching out some epic animal hunts on the walls with charcoal. Life's simple, right? Then, out of nowhere, the heavens explode in a blaze brighter than 1,000 bonfires stacked together. This wasn't just any shooting star, it was a colossal 2-kilometer chunk of cosmic debris, like a floating mountain barreling down from the void. When it slammed into what we now call Southeast Asia, the collision was apocalyptic. The earth beneath it boiled into a molten mess, spewing liquefied stone skyward. Those blobs cooled mid-flight and plummeted back as tiny glassy orbs known as tektites, scattering across the globe from the outback in Australia all the way to the icy wastes of Antarctica. The blast stirred up a storm of debris that cloaked the planet like a dusty veil, turning our blue marble into a shadowy haze where sunlight struggled to peek through. It wasn't fluffy snowflakes falling. It was a choking blanket of doom that starved the land of light. Strangely, the scar from this smash-up remains hidden today, buried under the Bolivian Plateau in Laos, a spot that's traded its fiery past for rolling coffee fields. Yep, the ground that almost spelled our end now fuels your daily Java ritual. Amid the chaos, our forebears toughed it out through endless chills, scarce meals, and sunsets painted in eerie reds and oranges. How's that for resilience? It makes you wonder. What would you grab first if the sky started falling? Shifting gears to number 8. The 536 AD Enigma of the Vanishing Sun. Fast forward to the early Middle Ages, where you're toiling away in a thatched hut, trading stories by firelight. Suddenly, the daylight dims without warning, like someone flipped a switch on the sky. For a whopping 18 months, starting in 536 AD, a bizarre mist enveloped the world, making the sun as feeble as a flickering candle in a drafty room. At high noon, shadows vanished, people squinted at their feet, wondering if the gods had forsaken them. Experts today point to a colossal volcanic blast as the culprit, one that pumped the air full of particles, transforming the atmosphere into a gloomy filter that sucked the warmth right out of the seasons. Summers turned frosty, as if winter had crashed the party and refused to leave. Fields withered without their solar fuel, sparking famines that rippled across continents. Plants, those finicky things, just couldn't hack it in the perpetual twilight. Historians dub this era the bleakest stretch in our timeline, and that's no small feat given the competition from plagues and wars. But wait, it escalated. Additional eruptions piled on, stretching the chill into a century of shivers. Can you imagine bartering for scraps while the world freezes over? It's a stark lesson in how one big boom can domino into decades of despair. Now, on to number 7. The ancient echo of the Carrington event, a solar fury unleashed. Imagine the sun, that reliable ball of fire in the sky, suddenly raging like a beast awakened from slumber, not with gentle warmth, but a ferocious outburst that dwarfs our nukes like sparklers next to dynamite. Evidence unearthed by researchers reveals our star once unleashed a superflare hundreds of times mightier than any flare we've recorded in recent times. This beastly eruption could have shredded our protective ozone blanket, leaving us exposed to a barrage of ultraviolet rays that would fry skin and ecosystems alike. Ancient trees whisper secrets of this chaos through their growth rings, logging spikes in radiation like pages in a forgotten journal. Down in Antarctic ice, layers preserve the fallout, and even lunar samples bear witness to the storm. It turns out, stars akin to ours throw these fits more frequently than we'd like. Astronomers have spotted similar stellar meltdowns across the cosmos. Think about it. If this hit today, our gadgets would glitch, skies would dance with unnatural lights, and we'd be scrambling for cover. Our ancestors, they weathered the invisible assault, proving life's tenacity even when the heavens conspire against us. Dipping deeper into the past for number 6, the Toba cataclysm that swallowed the light. 74,000 years back, daylight didn't just fade, it vanished entirely, courtesy of the Toba supervolcano's monumental rage. This wasn't a mild rumble. It was a detonation 1,000-fold more potent than Mount St. Helens, hurling ash and debris equivalent to filling over 1 million Olympic pools in mere weeks. Deadly pyroclastic surges raced across the land at speeds topping 320 kilometers per hour, faster than a race car. hotter than a forge at 1,100 degrees Celsius, capable of vaporizing anything in their path. The plume pierced the stratosphere, blanketing the globe in gloom that lingered for years, maybe decades. Vegetation gasped for photons and perished, collapsing food chains from herbivores to hunters. Humanity teetered on the brink, with estimates suggesting only 3,000 to 10,000 souls clung to existence, fewer than a modern village's population. Nowadays, the site slumbers as serene Lake Toba in Indonesia, its calm waters belying the fury that once nearly erased our lineage. It's like staring at a sleeping giant, peaceful on the surface, but what tales of survival it holds. Our predecessors adapted, foraging in the dimness, turning desperation into the spark that kept the human flame alive. Chilling out with number 5. The younger Dryas snap freeze. Here's a twist in the climate tale about 12,900 years ago. As the Ice Age thawed and warmth crept in, nature slammed the brakes, plunging temperatures by up to 10 degrees Celsius in mere decades. New York? It'd resemble a polar outpost, buried under frost. Theories abound. One posits a comet detonating over North America, igniting the air in a fiery spectacle. Another blames a torrent of meltwater from ancient glacial lakes flooding the seas, disrupting the ocean's warm currents like clogging a radiator. Early farmers, just mastering agriculture, watched their budding plots ice over not for a season, but for 1,200 years, a span outlasting empires. This frozen ordeal might have forged our ingenuity. Facing oblivion, innovation bloomed better tools, tighter communities. It's as if the cold forged us in its icy anvil, hammering resilience into our bones. Ever feel a winter chill? Multiply that by a millennium, and you've got the gist. Number 4. The magnetic shield meltdown. Our planet wears an unseen armor against space's lethal rays, but 42,000 years ago, during the Lachamps event, it faltered to a mere 5% strength. Think tissue paper versus a storm of bullets. Cosmic particles pummeled the surface, eroding the ozone and flooding us with UV that could scorch life. Prehistoric people sought refuge in caverns, daubing themselves with red ochre as a makeshift barrier against the burn. This havoc likely contributed to megafauna extinctions. Australia's oversized kangaroos and rhino-like marsupials vanished, while Europe's Neanderthals faded into history. A venerable New Zealand tree, preserved like a time capsule, charts the radiation in its rings, a natural detector spilling ancient secrets. Alarmingly, our field weakens even now. Could history loop back? It's a cosmic gamble, reminding us that protection isn't guaranteed sometimes. The universe tests our mettle. Surging ahead to number 3. The Atlantic conveyor crisis. Earth's oceans hum with currents like a global HVAC, shuttling heat to temper climates. But 8,200 years ago, this system stuttered when North American ice lakes burst, unleashing freshwater volumes rivaling 50 Amazons into the Atlantic. Salinity plummeted, halting the flow. Imagine diluting soup until it's flavorless and useless. Northern temps nosedived, not just a nip but a brutal freeze that starved harvests and invited glacial ghosts. A full shutdown? We might have tumbled into another ice age, derailing nascent societies. Ocean floor fossils, like submerged logbooks, chronicle the shift. Miraculously, the currents rebooted, sparing us eternal winter. It's a watery what-if. How close did we skate to the edge? Number 2. The Campanian Ignimbrite Inferno. 39,000 years ago in Europe, you're foraging with your clan when daylight dies, eclipsed by an inky void darker than the deepest cave. A supervolcano erupted, lofting ash 24 miles high, triple jet altitude, smothering a swath larger than India under suffocating layers, deep enough to entomb a standing figure. This volcanic winter choked summers, birthing acid rains that scorched foliage and seared lungs like spicy vapors. Neanderthals, already outmatched by our kin, may have met their end in this ashen apocalypse. Picture the scene. Skies like perpetual eclipse, survival a daily duel. Yet, humanity pressed on, adapting to the fallout. Finally, number 1. The African mega-drought squeeze. 70,000 years ago, Africa's verdant expanses shriveled into arid wastelands, far harsher than today's deserts. Humanity dwindled to perhaps a few hundred, a crowd smaller than a quiet mall. Survivors fled to coastal havens, swapping savanna hunts for seaside scavenging mussels, seaweed, the ocean's bounty. Caves became fortresses. Diets pivoted to aquatic fare. This bottleneck etched itself into our genes. We're less diverse than chimp troops, A scar from near oblivion. Nature's reset nearly succeeded, but we endured, emerging wiser. Whew, what a journey through the brink. These tales show how we've dodged cosmic bullets time and again. If this sparked your curiosity about our wild past, drop a like, share with a history buff pal, and hit that bell for more mind-bending adventures into the unknown. What's your take? Which event scares you most? Let me know below.